Boker Tov. So yesterday we explained the distinction between Melechet Uman and Melechet Hidyot, and we said that Melechet Uman, professional activities, generally speaking, is not permitted on Chol HaMoed, unless there is a loss involved, which we'll discuss. But Melechet Hidyot, if it's a non-professional activity, then one is allowed to do this Melacha on Chol HaMoed, provided it's for the purposes of Chol HaMoed itself. And with this, I want to now go into the whole topic of writing on Chol HaMoed. This is a topic which I think people are very confused about. Are you allowed to write on Chol HaMoed? Is there a difference between writing by hand or writing on a writing on a computer, printing? This whole topic of writing on Chol HaMoed, is it permissible or not? So the source of all of this is the Mishnah, which says a number of things are allowed to be written on Chol HaMoed, and one of the things it says is Igeret Shel Reshut. A letter of Reshut is permissible to write on Chol HaMoed. What does this mean, Igeret Shel Reshut, a letter of Reshut? What does this word Reshut mean? The Rif and the Rambam understand Reshut means a letter which is of a voluntary nature, which is not essential, but it's to increase friendship. You want to write a card to your friend. You've been invited for Shabbat Chol HaMoed, and you want to write a card to say thank you for the invitation. That is a Igeret Shel Reshut. And on this understanding, one is allowed to write on Chol HaMoed regularly, because writing normally, without exerting professional activity, is permissible on Chol HaMoed. The reason being, the Rambam and the Rif understand, is that general writing, i.e. writing without block writing, like Sefer Torah writing, or just generally without taking a lot of effort to write clearly and block letters and without it joined up, just general script, that is considered Melechet Hidyot. That is a non-professional activity. And thus, if you're doing it for Chol HaMoed, a card to send to your friend, to say hello, to say thank you, whatever it may be, that is permissible to do. What's asur to write in Chol HaMoed is Melechet Uman, professional. What is Melechet Uman? That's when you write, for example, in a Sefer Torah, or you write very carefully, i.e. not joined up, letter by letter, something like that. That would perhaps be Melechet Uman. But general writing, as we write today, without being very careful about the way a person writes, just a general letter, then that is considered Melechet Hidyot, and that is permissible. That is the opinion of the Rambam and the Rif. However, Rashi's opinion, and this is also the view of the Baal Halachot Gedolot, that when it says in the Mishnah, Igeret Shel Reshut, a letter of Reshut, this Reshut does not mean voluntary, it means governmental letters, like the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, which uses the word Reshut to depict the government. And this means there is an essential nature to it, it has to be done now, there's something very important about it. But general letters, just to say hello or to write a card, that is considered Melechet Uman. On this view, all writing, general writing, is considered Melechet Uman, professional activity. Even if one doesn't exert an extra amount of attention, that is still considered Melechet Uman, and that is Asur on Chol HaMoed. So two major different views. There are a few other views, but these are the two major views with regards to writing. Is normal writing, which we write day to day, not professional writing, I'm not talking about calligraphy, of course that would be Melechet Uman, but general normal writing, when we write in the normal fashion, according to the Rambam and the Rif, their understanding is that that is Melechet Hidyot, and that is permissible to write in Chol HaMoed, provided it's needed for the Moed. Whereas the view of the Rashi and the Bahag is that that is considered, all such writing is Melechet Uman, only when a person changes the way which they write with their left hand, or they write in a sloppy way, they write in a otiyot akumot, where the letters are crooked, you're not writing clearly, only that is permissible to write, that's Melechet Hidyot. But general normal writing which we do is Melechet Uman, and that is asur to do. What is the halacha with this? The halacha in the Shulchan Aruch is very clear. Maran, the Shulchan Aruch, is posek like the Rif and the Rambam. And thus, in the view of the Shulchan Aruch, one is allowed to write on Chol HaMoed anything which is needed for the Moed, provided it's done in a non-professional way, i.e. a normal way which we write. And this is the view of the Shulchan Aruch. And thus, if you are invited out and you want to write a card, you're allowed to do that. If you are going shopping and you want to write a shopping list, that's you're going shopping for Chol HaMoed, for the food of Chol HaMoed or for the second part of Yom Tov, that's for the Moed. And therefore you're allowed to write that down because that's a normal way of writing. It's not professional. And therefore, and it's for the Moed, you're allowed to do that. Whereas the Rama says, for the Ashkenazim, that although the halacha does follow the Rishon Rabban, that is the main halacha, it's customary to write in a sloppy way. Even the Rama himself says that that's only if it's possible, it's customary to do so. If that's not possible, then even he will agree that really one is allowed to write, if necessary, on Chol HaMoed in a normal fashion. And therefore, in conclusion, one is allowed to write on Chol HaMoed in a normal way with his hand, right, whether you are right-handed or left-handed in your normal way, provided you're writing for the purposes of the Moed itself. And this is the view of the Sfaradim. Even for the Ashkenazim, if one can write with the left hand, perhaps it's better to do so, and if it's legible. If it's not, though, then even for the Ashkenazim, they are allowed to write normally, provided it's for the Moed. There are many more details to this, especially with phones, texting, and printing, and writing on the computer, which we will, B'ezras Hashem, discuss.